I end up having 3 babies. They all had to be C-section because of my hips. They were very, very awful. I was sick the whole time. And I'll tell you, I think there is a connection with people who have been sexually abused and people who are sick with morning sickness, like above and beyond the whole 9 months. So that's how I was. I threw up all 9 months. On the day that my first son was born, I threw up 9 times that day. Very, very sick. And I was very, very sick through all of the pregnancies. Even had to go on bed rest for half of the pregnancy of my 3rd child. And, just having all these surgeries, I just felt traumatized and like my body was not mine. And I remember going into this last C-section that I was going to have, and I was in tears and shaking just because I saw a scalpel on a billboard or something. And my husband was like, okay, that's enough. We're not having any more kids. And so I remember being opened up on the table, just feeling like a slaughtered cow. It felt like my arms were tied down because of all of the IVs and stuff. And there's the drape that they put right on you. Kind of felt suffocating. You're not really part of what's going on in the room. Everybody's excited that the baby's here while you're still being sewn up and stuff. And I just felt like a slaughtered cow. It was pretty awful. Anyways, doing the best that I can to raise these kids with this depression and the sickness. This last baby, when I was opened up on the table, the doctor was like, so are we sewing you up? And my husband said, yeah, we're done. Sew her up. No more kids. And that was hard. That was really, really hard. I almost felt like, again, that I didn't have a choice, but it was best that my husband made that choice. And so I started looking into adoption because I wanted more children. I wanted to surround myself with love. I wanted to pass on a good heritage, something better than what I had. And also somewhere in my mind, I thought that success was rated on how many successful, loving, happy kids you raised. And so truthfully, that's what happened. And I decided after we couldn't adopt, we had a couple of, things happen where we were offered a baby, but then it was taken away. I decided to do foster care. We decided to do foster care. And I was excited about that because then I was like, I can help these kids that maybe have been through things that were similar to me. So this first placement that I got was a girl who was 4 years old and a boy who was 9 months old. And to be clear, we had already discussed the parameters of our foster kids being 0 to no more than 3 years old. And the foster care, the social workers were desperate to get these children placed. And so they begged us to take this 4-year-old and her brother. And of course I was like, yes. I mean, this child had clearly had some sexual stuff happen to her. She wouldn't take her pants off in the Christmas box house when they were trying to give her a bath. So of course I was going to take these kids into my home and I would love them and cherish them and give them everything that I could. And hopefully they would be reunited, but if not, we would adopt them into our family and I'd be really happy about that. Very soon, this child started to have some extreme behaviors. She was very, very sexualized. It was clear that she had seen some really awful porn. She was doing horrible, horrible things. She would drink my daughter's urine out of the toilet with a straw. And then she would suck her bum with a straw. And so it got really scary. There was a lot of like pole dancing stuff. There was a lot of scary stuff. She got kind of physical. She was very confrontational. And right off the bat, I was like, I don't know if we can keep this kid. I don't know if we can keep her. I want so bad to help her because clearly she's had some problems, but I don't know. I don't know if I can keep all my kids safe. I don't know if I can keep them safe. But I had very little help from the social workers. They were very dismissive. I couldn't get a hold of the post-adoptive worker. I tracked her down when I couldn't get a hold of her from city to city, trying to find her where she might be speaking to a different foster care group. Finally, when I got a hold of her, um, she basically told me that this girl is begging you to give her your attention because you are her whole world, because you are where she feels safe. And so all of these behaviors she's doing just to see if you're going to kick her out. Okay, so then of course that tugs at your heart a little bit too. And as the time went on, 6 months is about the time in Utah that you could have a foster kid before you adopt them. And there wasn't much progress being made with mom and dad. Well, dad was trying. Mom was content on, she thought her mom would end up getting these kids anyways. But we end up being asked if we will adopt, and I say, well, can we separate the two? Because this baby boy is bonded to me, and he has not known a mother like this or a life like this. And it would be so hard to let him go. But this child, who I also love very much, is causing this much damage to the rest of the family, and we're just not in a place. Well, there was nowhere for her to go. And they were worried about her being a ward of the state. And so, of course, we decided, I had this conversation with my kids and my husband, and we decided that we would take her and take both of them and do everything we could to help. Well, things only got worse. As she grew, she learned how to be more manipulative. The sexual stuff got worse. She was very, very controlling. She preyed on people that were smaller than her, both girls and boys. I would watch these awful, awful situations happen. And I recognized them. I recognized them from my past. I recognized the feel of it from my grandfather, my uncle. And in some cases, the people around me didn't. And so one of the games, for example, that I caught her playing was, she was cornering my daughter, who was the same age as her, but smaller. And she was like, we're going to play a game, and you're going to have to do whatever it is I tell you to do. And she started saying stuff like, pick your nose and eat it. And then she got to like, smell your underwear or smell my underwear or something like that. And I was just like, nope. it was, I knew what that meant. That was a control game. But I had people in my family who were like, that's normal. It's normal. She got violent. She got to the point where she was throwing knives. She threw a knife at my daughter that stuck in her arm a little bit and then fell out. As she got older, she would threaten to kill us. She got onto awful porn on different accounts, like at school and stuff. It was really, really, really awful. And this lasted for a really long time. And I begged and begged and begged for help. We ended up in court for 5 years on and off because of this child. She was diagnosed with ODD. And for those of you who don't know what that is, oppositional defiance disorder is the disorder that, the same disorder that kids have that go and shoot up schools. And I was told that this disorder that she was diagnosed with would turn into conduct disorder when she was a teen and breaking the law. And then she had a 20% chance of healing and an 80% chance of being diagnosed as a sociopath when she turned 18. So then I was stuck in this situation. And as things got worse and worse and worse, I asked my husband to talk to a lawyer about what would happen if we decided to give her back up to the state. When we asked the lawyer, he said, the law in Utah is that you will be charged with child abuse, neglect, and abandonment if this happens. Okay, so that was pretty devastating. So we continue on doing the best that we can. I've got cameras in the hallways. I can't put it in the bedrooms because that's wrong. But I'm doing the best I can to make sure people are watching all the time. We have a sticker chart. I'm like constantly focused on trying to help this child learn good play and bad play and how to be a part of a family. But the truth is that she was abusing me the whole time too. Telling stories that weren't true, going to neighbors and just making things up. And her goal was to get back to her birth mom. I remember the first day when she learned that she had power over the social workers and over the adults in her life. When the social workers came over and they did a personal chat with this child, and they said, what do you like here? And she's like, well, I like, to play. What do you not like here? Oh, well, I don't like boy and girl time. And the social worker comes out and basically crosses her arms and says, what's boy and girl time? She says she doesn't like that. And I don't know, to me it just kind of felt like it was a suspicion of a sexual abuse thing that we were doing to her. And in truth, it was my son and his friends saying, it's boys time, boy club time, or whatever, no girls allowed. But I remember the look on this child's face, where she was like, like I have power here. I can say whatever I want, and then I have control over these people. And so she used that she literally made a roadmap to get back to her birth family, which was heartbreaking. It's sad. Anyways, so we ended up through all these cases, through all these charges, it just really bad investigations. But it got at the worst when we made the decision to take another child into our home.